What an absolutely stunning day today. Sunday, last day of spring break. We're gonna have the kids out this week coming up for some beaver trapping. Today, Pacer and I are just scouting out some locations and have a look at some of our old spots. Maybe try and find some new spots. See how it's looking. Water's a little bit high right now. I had a trap in here I always say last year, but it was in the fall. Same season. Now we're into some spring trapping. Could get one probably in there, or I had one right in this channel here, but I'd have to block all this off, which one log across there would do it. That's nice and deep there. Okay, we're just coming up to this big beaver dam. And lots is melted. And to see if we can find any sign of fresh activity. Normally you would start seeing some of this stuff being chewed. You know, this stuff here, there'd be some chew. There's some old chew. That's what I would expect to see if this was active. Number two, start seeing some obvious crossovers. So far nothing. That would be smooth if they were using this. So I'm not seeing anything obvious here, but we've got some potential really good travel routes. I'm liking this. Some pinch points in here. Right here would be good. Or down in here would be good. That would be really good there, because anything coming up might come through here. Still pretty deep, so to try and target this main creek, it'd be a bit more difficult. You might get one in there. Maybe right down there. Or farther down here, but lots of current. Another little dam back there. This is just some of the fun of beaver trapping, is trying to figure out where they are. Where they might go. Same with otters. Like I say, otters, they're gonna cruise up and down this creek system. They might go into the old dens, use the old dens. But you just got to start getting some traps out. We know they're not in here right now using, that's the old lodge right there. I know they're not using that because they would have this all dammed up. And there would be an active feed pile out here somewhere. Okay, well, we'll keep on trucking. Decide to maybe get 1 or 2 traps around here somewhere. Just get them set up. BeaverCraft, time to put it to work. Sucker's sharp. Love that thing. Look at that. That's a beaut. Somebody's enjoying the sun. What do you smell? Hey, bud. So we flagged off some cauldron mushrooms the last 2 years, and where each flag was a mushroom, but you can see how many more have grown up. There's lots of conversations about cauldron mushrooms being kind of rare. We find them all the time. So we're early stages. So we have that flagged off for the kids. Make sure they don't walk over it. And when we bring them out here, it's a little station where we teach them about it. So kind of cool. Not a lot known about cauldron mushrooms. Anything I found is they're not really edible in the sense of there's no nutritional value, but they're not poisonous either. You can take the liquid out of them, which I've researched a little bit and I've tried, and I guess it kind of tastes like water. Not really much taste to it. Doesn't taste bad, but I guess in an emergency situation you could use them. Okay, we're just back to the pond. This pond feeds that creek that we were just on. So watch where you're walking here. Good flow here. Again, that's not being used as if it was. I don't think that ice would be there. Still pretty thick, but there is an old lodge just over there. We trapped this pond a couple years ago, and this was all underwater. Yeah, you can't even see where that lodge, but it's just right in front of us. That was kind of their main pond. They had a feed pile there, and then all these channels were built by them, but I'm not seeing any kind of activity. We tried trapping here in the fall. Might have had a trap there. I know I had one over there. Didn't have any success. So, but I like this spot. I think I'll put a trap here. Because again, this creek system keeps going through those trees. If they're gonna travel this creek system at all, they're going through this spot. Almost guaranteed, so we'll put one in there. Let it soak. there's this little channel. This was actually dug up by beavers. This channel that goes through here. So we're just gonna head up there and we're gonna see if there's any openings and put a set in. I guess they won't be using this for a while. That's still pretty thick. They're not coming through here. Let's see what we got. Little opening up here. And they're gonna do what Pacer's doing, beyond the ice before they're under the ice, but they wouldn't travel on the ice. I don't think an otter would go that far. So we're just a bit too early for this location, but we will eventually get one set up in here. So it's still below zero most mornings, and it's still single digits in the afternoon. There's been the odd double digit day, 10 degrees Celsius, but not enough to really melt this out completely. And today's absolutely stunning, but it's been kind of cloudy and overcast, a little bit of snow here and there, but again, just cool temperatures. So once we stay above zero overnight, this stuff will melt really fast. So another week or two maybe, I might get a trap in here, but we'll head to those other locations that are open water. So there's a couple different trap setups with 330s, especially for beaver trapping, and one is to actually get a long skinny pole like this and put it through the springs and hang the trap down. So it's best to not use a green tree, something that they're going to eat, so the alders and aspens and whatnot. This tree's dead. Just gotta take the limbs off because I gotta be able to slide this through the rings of the trap, which you'll see in a bit. You always need an axe on the trap line. And let me tell you, this thing is so sharp. It should work. Okay, the idea is to get that trap on here and hang it. To cut this stick down, so we can go farther up here. I think I'm going to cut it down a little bit. That as a blocker. there is a possibility that this could all end up, even this could end up underwater. I'm going to put a few more stakes to just secure this. So even if the water level does get up high, we should still be able to find it. Okay, so that's going to hold that in place a little bit better. It's jammed into the mud. If it's going to go somewhere, it's most likely going to go down current. It's secure, so it's not wiggling back and forth. Sometimes it sits loose in there. So if you have a critter go through, it could actually move the trap and get a bad catch. So you want that trap nice and secure, which it is. So we're good. We'll leave it at that. One trap in. Pretty good. This tree's kind of rotten, a little harder to chop, but it's getting through there. She's through. Okay, there we go. There are a few items on the trap line that are an absolute must, and the axe is one of them. It's a tool that I use every single day for multiple purposes. It's not just an axe, but quite often it's a hammer. I'm hammering in stakes into the traps to hold them in place. This is the BeaverCraft AX4 Universal Felling Axe, and I've been trying it out now for a few months, and man, do I love it. It is a nice multi-purpose axe, obviously bigger than a hatchet, so it has a bit more use. It's a lot safer than a hatchet, but it's not so big that it's cumbersome to carry around. It does come with the sheath, but I find that I'm using it so much that I generally don't keep the sheath on when I'm out in the field. I'll sometimes put it in my pocket or put it in my bag, because I find you take it off, you put it down, and you're likely to forget it. So when I'm transporting it back and forth, and the sheath goes on. But let me tell you, man, this thing is a beauty. The design is awesome. I mean, if you like the Viking style axe, this is pretty darn close. It's got the nice beard right here, and I find that super handy to hold on to it. I find that when I'm carrying this axe, I'm holding it right here all the time, and having that beard there, just it enables, it's actually just nice and balanced. If that wasn't a beard there, then you see it's falling forward here, so it just fits nicely. And you know, if you do want to hang it up, it's pretty easy to just hang that on a tree branch or in your shop, wherever you're storing it. So that's really cool. So right away, when you look at this axe, you can see it's been hand forged. It's 1066 carbon steel. So the head is about 2 pounds, which makes it a nice axe to pack around. It's not too heavy, too cumbersome. The handle is made out of ash wood, nice and smooth. It's been treated with linseed oil and wax, but it just has a nice feel to it. There is a little bit of a knob on the end that you can grip and keeps your hand in place there. There's a little knob up here, which I actually quite like, the way that it just fits right under your thumb there. And again, just nice and comfortable. You've got your blade length. Your cutting surface is 4.92 inches, so just under 5 inches. Gives you a nice big cutting surface. The total length, or the handle length, is 25.2 inches, which again is a nice length, easy to pack. And with the 2-pound head, it's not too heavy if you want to do some smaller bushcraft splitting. You can use it for splitting. So obviously it's not designed to split, but you can see the cheeks are not really that wide. Splitting axe is going to be a lot wider, but it will split. So this is nice for out in the bush. If you know, we do have some trees that we've bucked and we want to cut up some firewood for our camp, then we can use this axe. I don't have to bring out a splitting maul. I've never owned an expensive axe or a well-crafted axe, and let me tell you, once you've used one of these, it's pretty hard to go back to anything that is cheaply made. Now, I spend almost every day out in the bush as part of my job, and I've quickly learned that when it comes to tools, you get what you pay for. And so this axe is well worth it. It's going to get a lot of use. I'm super happy with it. Thank you, BeaverCraft. Okay, we've got a nice deep channel right here. It's kind of a bank there and a bank there, so we've got to get the trap right through there. We'll use this pole, get that in there, and then we're going to have to secure that so it doesn't float, or else I have to go a little longer pole, but I kind of like this pole, so I'm going to make it work. I'll secure it with a couple stakes. I'm going to put these in first, this one in first, just to get it set up so that that doesn't float down the creek. And this is why I love this axe, because you're constantly pounding poles, pounding stakes. Okay, we're using a 330 conibear trap. Now we're going to hang this one, which means we need the springs up. So the safeties come off this way. So if you lift the springs up, you got to get the safeties off before, or else they're in the way. Alright, so right now I can't get the safeties off. Well, maybe from there I can. Again, this axe is really nice for this. Just taking off these little knobs so that the trap will slide over it. Go this way because I need the wire at that end. There we go, that's better. Okay. Now I gotta make sure the safeties can come off. And hopefully they don't hook up back onto the trap from the current. Now I want this trap as close to the bottom as possible. So it's on a bit of an angle. The current's pushing it. It's not right on the bottom. So I'm going to have to put some stakes in there to hold that trap in that position. Because right now the whole thing is rolling. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll have to dive under that, under this log stick. But I've got to get the trap straight up and down. And right now it's floating down the creek. If you put the stake in through the springs, that. Now I can pound that in, and that will hold the trap this way. So what's happening is the current is pushing the trap, and so again you could get a bad catch. So if I put this through the springs, now that's solid. That's stopping it from going down. I wouldn't mind if this was up a little bit higher, just because a beaver is going to be swimming. They're going to see this, the log, the stick. They're going to dive down, but the top of the trap is just below that, so then they really got to dive down to get through. So if I could get that to come up a bit, might be better. Actually, if I do that, because I pounded that in, that'll actually hold everything right there. Yeah, I like that. Okay, there's our trap. Now it's not square to the bridge, but the channel kind of goes that way, so it is following the channel. There's a little bit of a curve there. This trap is produced every year, so let's see if we can get something again. Things are melting fast here. Even today they're melting fast, so it's only one way to find out if anything's going through or around or over this dam, and we'll just pick one spot to set a trap. Looking at it earlier, I think there's a good travel route. And these will all eventually be potential crossovers, but knots really wide and really deep. So I kind of like this spot in here just because it's narrow, so it'd just be easy to set up a trap. Just gotta see how deep it is. Okay, we're gonna go right in there. It kind of drops off a little bit down here. Get most of the trap underwater, or at least half the trap underwater. Trap number 2. All right, trap number 4.